And just like that, we're back, sports shooting stars. We bring the game to you, and that's what we're doing this Friday night. And right now, I got Central York's coach on with me, Coach Gerry Yonchiuk. Coach, thanks for jumping on with me here today.
My pleasure, Marcellus. Thanks for having me.
Well, you opened the season. We called a big comeback. You did fall behind early, but just shut them out in the second half there against Central Dauphin. What did that second half performance tell you about this year's squad?
Well, I think just the resilience. It was interesting because at halftime, Ryan Brown said, he goes, we're down 9-6. And there was a little bit of like, what's going on? Last year we were up 44-0 at halftime, and they were very young. And I knew we'd get their best shot. So he's like, guys, football is 4 quarters, not two. And, I think everybody just kind of exhaled and said, all right, let's just settle down. It's first game and you don't always play well. But they came back out and Brooklyn led us and, that second half and just took care of business and did what they had to do.
Well, you mentioned Ryan Brown and mentioned Brooklyn Nace. Those two were playing basketball and football for years and years. Ryan Brown's back now for his senior season. Talk a little bit about that quarterback you got, the Old Dominion commit, Brooklyn Nace.
Brooklyn's special. He's very intelligent. So when you have skill set, like this year he's grown in, he's 6'3", he's 197 pounds. Where last year he was 6'1", a little over, he was 169 pounds. So he didn't look the part. And he did give up basketball his junior year, and it really played into him getting this scholarship. The cool part about it is he's going to play basketball again, though, this year because he doesn't have to report to Old Dominion. So it was kind of, I think, of an agreement deal to get RB out and Doug Layer from basketball. So we're thrilled. But Brooklyn is just understands like how to read coverages, understands concepts so well that you get a little bit spoiled, as Bo could do the same. So when you can do that and you have the skill set, he's going to give you a chance to win and be successful. Because I may call the wrong play, he can check me into a better play.
Yeah, what a weapon to have there. And you mentioned about him playing basketball. I didn't know that. So that's a nugget here for me and some of the fans out there. I was told by his AAU coach, Jared Smith, from years ago that when I told him that he wasn't playing basketball, Coach Smith was like, wait, what? He loves basketball so much.
Yep.
So, but that's just the dedication, like you said, to the sport of football.
He knew he had, because these guys will come in and you got to pass the eyeball test. And if they feel they're looking at kids all across the country, and if they feel a guy's just not, maybe in their mind, okay, he wasn't committed to the weight room or he wasn't this or that. But when you can pass the eyeball test and they go, whoa, and they grab your arm and see, what you're all about, and then being able to throw the ball as well as he did, because by also gaining that weight and strength, there's a lot more velocity on his throws. So he's making those good throws. And the other day, he didn't make a bad throw in the game. He made a couple misreads in the first series, and that may have been a little bit of the, first year newness. But then once he settled in,
Well, you talked about some of that velocity and that throwing. How about talk about those weapons you got with Smith and Murray, Coach?
Yeah, Smith being a 3-year starter, and they grew up together. They're best friends, Brooklyn and him. And I always tease them about, what they're able to do. Like he'll know when Brendan's going to make a cut. And Brendan is a talent. He's one of the most talented kids in the state of Pennsylvania at the receiver position because he's so explosive. Very, very difficult to defend, cover. And then now to Marcus Murray, who's a transfer to us, is really a talent. He's raw because he's only a sophomore, but his big play capability is really there. But we got a whole crew of receivers. Colin Gurley at the Y position, who's actually a 4-year starter for us on offense. He's 6'3", 230 pounds, 235, and he can be a load. We try to free him up a little bit, and when we do that, we will rotate it. But we've got guys all over the place. We got Andre Barry Ofer, who plays on one side. We got Makai Collins that plays on another. So we've got guys around that we can really believe in, that they can make plays.
Well, Manheim Township seems to have a defense once again this year. Didn't get to see much film there. We won 7-0, Coach. Talk a little bit about defensively. You pitched the shutout in the second half last week. How big is it to come down and have your defense put their paw on this game?
This game is big that way in terms of, we knew defensively we have some guys that can really run and they get after you, but we're also banged up. So we're like, it's a little bit of a crossroads. You don't think that's going to happen in game one, but, don't want to give away any pregame, secrets with it, but we're not 100% healthy, which is disappointing. And I just feel bad for those guys that are out. But Mike Cesarano does an amazing job with our defense, and then he blows out his knee yesterday morning playing basketball. So he may be up in the booth and will need knee surgery. Everybody thinks they're 21 again, but they're not, with these guys. So, but he's the architect of our defense and makes that happen. So, but Township has such a good defense. They play like basically a catch trap coverage with their secondary. If they read run, they're flying up. They're trying to get 11 people to the football. And Cumberland Valley has some big dudes. The kid going to Notre Dame, it's on their offensive line, and to hold them without a score tells you that how good their defense is. And teams will say, well, they lost. On offense, they lost 10 guys out of the 11, and then they lost 8 of the 11 on D. But teams like that and a program like that Mark Evans has, they just reload that, and they should because of their numbers. I mean, he has 110 kids or 110 players on his roster.
Wow,
and they're good. They're very well coached. You got to beat them by being, and not that you could be more sound, you have to execute because they'll never beat themselves. And he was like that when he coached at Elko. Same way, like his teams are so well prepared, so you never beat them. You can get sometimes you catch an edge on a coach somewhere, but not with him. Mark he can flat out coach ball. And he played at Miami. I mean, he was alongside Mario Cristobal. They were both. Mark was at guard or tackle. At guard, and Cristobal was the tackle. So he's been around and understands the game very well. But if we're going to ever advance and, be in a district title final, you got to be able to win those non-league games. Because if we don't win these, if we were to lose Friday and next week, we probably don't make the postseason. That's just how it works out because of the power rankings, unless we were, got in as maybe the 8th seed. So we have to ball out early in the schedule.
Well, this is your 6th season, if I'm not mistaken. Says coming in 51-8, Coach. That's an amazing record. I know you want to get another one this Friday. What's your message to the Panther Nation out there? Why should they come out Friday or tune in to Sports Shooting Stars to watch this big game?
Well, I think if they like football, high school football, it's going to be entertaining, regardless if it's Central or Township. But I did an interview yesterday, and the guy said, he goes, Coach, we really believe it's the 6A game in the state in terms of 2 quality programs playing. I didn't realize that. I mean, because there's so many great opener games, but this week's really pivotal for both. I mean, there's a lot to lose in terms of the power rankings and where you're at. So then if win or lose, you got to go on to week 3, but it is a big game. They'll bring a big crowd. They'll bring a big student population. So I'm hoping we can, ride that home feeling, being able to play home. And we have 3 home games in a row. So the way our schedule plays out, 5 of our first 7 are at home, and we finish with 3 on the road. So this is big, first home game of the year, and hoping that we can get a lot of energy and juice in the stadium.
Well, you heard him. Come on out. Show that pride Friday night under the lights. If you can't make it out, you can watch it right here on Sports Shooting Stars. We bring the game to you. Contact us, sportsshootingstars@gmail.com.